What up guys, what up guys, what up guys? It is Ian Tubbs here coming to you guys right now with another video. Today I've got the top dog, the head boy, Mr. Bryce Tubbs, the one who runs the show. Glory to God, we're out here, we're doing our thing. What's up, Bryce?
Hey, thank you for having me on the episode on the channel there. I appreciate it.
Totally. So, I mean, people already know Bryce Tubbs. They see you every week. They see you on all the videos. They see the posts that you make on Facebook. But behind it all, what made you even want to pursue being a business owner?
Yeah, like for me, I didn't really have a huge amount of choices because I started my business when I was in college, and that was right around the time where our mom got laid off from one of her jobs, like probably the last job she ever had, and like she didn't really know how to utilize the internet, so it was just kind of like we were starting to run low on cash, so it's just how I could get like a job, but I couldn't really go get a real job. I could only get something from like a Burger King, Taco Bell, because I was still in college, so I was still trying to get the degree. I was still trying to kind of build our income, build our money. So we had to start our own business and just kind of break out like that. So to answer your question, didn't really have a choice at that time. It was just she had this particular skill set, which is accounting and bookkeeping. I had to go develop a skill set, which is learning how to utilize the internet to go and build the business. So we didn't have a choice.
Yeah, I feel like because, pretty much our whole lives, like you and I have never seen ourselves ever working for people. So of course, with you having that job at Taco Bell that one time, and then me having the music retail and stuff, of course we never stayed there. And we're able to build what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Because even back when I was in high school and you were pretty much my music manager, my gear guy, my chauffeur, my booker, all of that stuff, and things we're able to learn on our own. And, kind of it's like now, I've always just seen us as a business, never a black-owned business. That never occurred to me until a little while ago. I mean, have you considered this a black-owned business or just a business?
Yeah, that was a good point, because I never really thought of it like that until you brought that up the other week when we were having that conversation. I've never really thought about that. It's always just like, because the majority of our clients, at least when we're first starting, like we have so many different clients that are from so many different walks of life. We have people that are like in college, we have people that are like 50 years old, we have white people, black people, Asian people, Hispanic people. We have so many different kind of things. I just never really considered us, like a black. It is a black-owned business, which sounds, like a duh, but when you actually think about it, like we've never really considered it like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, haven't we've had clients? You've had clients in the Philippines, right?
Yeah.
You have clients in the. Currently, we're working with people in Canada, in the UK. We're working with, of course, people here in America. Is there any place I'm leaving out? Just basically, we have clients all over the world, so those are the majority, yeah. Yeah, we've done Australia, but why this specific route that you took about being a bookkeeper and wanting to help out in this?
Yeah, so I mean, for us, it was just the lowest hanging fruit, because, a lot of our family members are involved in like accounting or just in the accounting field, so just kind of like, they already had that skill set, so it was, generally, if you're starting a business, it's always easy to start something that, number one, is a service, number two, it's something you're already good at, and then number three, it's something that you can utilize the internet for to go grow. Because like we had started a number of businesses in the past, right? I used to do e-commerce. I did like senior citizen, like fitness.
Yeah.
Those are the main two, like the main two kind of businesses we had tried to attempt to start, right? And like, for example, for every single business had a very different problem that I had to either overcome or had to kind of learn in order to fix it. So for example, with the senior citizen business, it was a really good business. We were charging anywhere between like, I think it came out to like $80 per hour we were charging, but there was only so many locations that we could actually meet without like having to go drive 45 minutes. So like we had gotten like 6 locations that really wanted us to like do the workouts and do the training. And you were there too until the training as well. I remember those days. But there was only like 5 or 6 different buildings. We got out of 6 buildings in the area, we got 5 of them to let us come inside and do those workouts. But then when I started trying to go and find more companies to do that so I can make more and more money, the next one was like 45 minutes or an hour away. And it's just like, we were limited by the geography. So the thing I learned from there was, okay, we can charge a good amount of money. It's just that we need to have it where it was a digital or a virtual business so that I can go get clients anywhere in the world and I can never be like limited by that kind of scale. The second thing that I learned was from like eBay and the e-commerce. Now, for most people don't know, I've been making 6 figures a year in revenue probably for the last 2014, 2015. So about, right now it's 2023, so 8 to 9 years I've been making 6 figures. But the first year when I was doing e-commerce, even though I made 6 figures on like revenue, that's like, just total sales, it was costing me so much money to run the business, I was actually losing money every single month. So what I learned from there was, if you're going to sell something, you need to make sure it has really high profit margins so that when you sell it and you make, $100,000 in sales, you keep at least, ideally you keep 90,000, So
Yeah, go back a little bit on that, what you were saying just now about losing money.
Yeah, so
I think
so let's say, and this is a really big point, right? Because a lot of people, they'll see, it's called revenue online. It's like the top line. You sell a product. Let's say you sell this pen that's in my hand, and it sells for $100, right? Okay, cool. That means Bryce just received $100, but Bryce does not get to keep all that money that went to the pocket. Inside of this pen, it probably cost me we'll say $50 to make it. So that means it's $50 profit, but $50 in cost. Okay, but now there's another cost. It is my labor cost, so I have to pay employees. Let's say I have to go pay my employees another $30, right? So now instead of me making $50 in profit, I have to go and say $100 minus 50 minus 30. That means I'm only getting, what is that, $20 in profit left. Okay, but there's another fee. So let's say I'm online, there's a payment processor fee. Maybe that's $10. Okay, cool. So it means $100 sale, 50 for the actual product cost. We said 30 for the labor cost, and then 10 for the fees. That means out of a $100 pen that I just sold, and out of the $100 bill I received, I'm only profiting $10. And then there's also another fee, advertising.
right.
So let's say it cost me $20 to advertise that as well. So that means my total cost on that is $50 plus $30, that's 80 so far, plus 20 for the 10 for the fees, and then 20. That actually adds up to about $110 to my cost. So out of $100 I just sold this for, it costs $110. I am losing $10 every single time I sell this pen for $100. And I did that times 1,000. So I would sell $100,000 and I would lose every sale.
I want to kind of circle back because one of the words that stood out in the sentence that you talked about is the word limitation. And these last 2 videos that I made for just this Black History Month series have been about different limitations. The first week we talked about, your skin is not a limitation. Last week we talked about how education is not a limitation, whether you have a degree or not. And one of the current things, pretty much our whole lives, you and I, the only thing we've ever been limited by is not having knowledge about specific things. That's really, and I know a lot of people, especially when it comes to BOBs, Black-owned businesses, is people will say the man. How a lot of times like there's some sort of external force. And I'm gonna put our elementary school on blast. When we were young, and I didn't even know this till our mother told us this recently, was that they had some kind of system where they were putting, Black kids basically at the bottom of the list. And things like that. But that never stopped either of us. that didn't stop us from going on and being able to accomplish things that we have.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of in a really good place nowadays, right? Where the internet kind of has opened things up. So, for example, me and Mom were doing a podcast episode a couple weeks ago, and in corporate America, there's something called like the glass ceiling. So that basically means that like they're climbing, they're ascending and getting different jobs, right? But at a certain level, if your boss doesn't like you or if the people in the organization don't like you, it's really hard for you to advance very far, right? And take that step further. A lot of people kind of experience that in their regular life. Now, the cool thing about having an internet business or doing something online is that if somebody doesn't like me or someone's trying to stop me, I just block them and I can go and get 10 times as many people. So we do have that opportunity to not really be limited by that as much if you know how to utilize the system that you're kind of dealing with and you're really able to be more free. So like everyone's kind of impacted by like either prejudice or someone not really wanting to work with them or for whatever thing. It just really depends on like how are you able to utilize the technology to one, be able to get around that, but then number two, to be able to expand far enough and fast enough so you can make enough money to where it doesn't matter what people think or what they want.
Yeah.
So
there's like a lot of times the people that we've spoken to, that I've spoken to, that you've spoken to, who have talked about being limited, but feeling like until they get CPA certification, right, that they don't believe that we can start. But of course, we have people in our circle.
Yeah, I think a big thing too is like, so on our channel we talk about like our mentorship program, right? So we help people if they're like an accountant or a bookkeeper, or if they're looking to start a bookkeeping business, and even further like Ian's mentorship program, which is like teaching people how to be like coaches, right? We can teach other people skills, we can build audiences, right? Like if you ever see a lot of my like social media online, a big reason behind that is Ian's the one who's like behind that, kind of growing that. So he's the one like editing a lot of the videos. He's the one pushing the videos out. He's the one creating the thumbnails. He's the one on the Facebook. He's the one managing our content. He's the one posting to our LinkedIn, right? So he's really growing the audience. But we kind of had that. The main reason why you want to join a mentorship, why like pay for a mentorship program, whether it's ours, whether it's somebody else, doesn't really matter. You pay for it to be able to get out of your limited thinking or our limited beliefs and see someone who is a little bit further ahead of you and kind of start adopting their beliefs. So we've always had the privilege of being around people or paying to be in certain circumstances, certain situations where the people, had better beliefs or they had better skills. So like even though we were limited in our skills and our knowledge, we were always able to go and like talk to other people, whether it was paid. I mean, I've probably spent about $150,000. It's getting close to $200,000 in pure cash on courses, mentorships, masterminds, people we've hired, right? All to kind of learn the skill sets so we can be able to grow so much faster. People ask like, how are me and you going to be able to go and have $1 million in cash within the next like 4 years, right? It's not that we're like special. It's not that we're doing anything more. It's just we have paid so much money.
Yeah.
We understand how to utilize money to go and make more money. We have connections in the form of like we've had to pay people to actually talk to us and tell us their secrets. That's a big point. People who like are afraid of like the man or something holding them back.
Yeah.
If you really want to be able to get them to kind of give you their secrets, you either work for them or you pay them money and then you're on their side. So let me tell you a story. So at one of Mom's old jobs, when I was in high school, there was like a bring your child to work day, right? So I went into the office and there was two guys. The one guy was a CFO. That's like the second in charge or the third in charge of the company. And I talked to the CEO. So the CFO was like just a regular person where they're highly paid individual making about $250,000 a year. But he wasn't really inside of that next level of that club where it's above $450 million per year. And the way he kind of talked about things, like he was kind of limited. Like he was actually closed off from the group of the people who made a lot more money. So he, even though he was a Caucasian gentleman, he was still feeling that limitation that we kind of talk about. So it's not just like the man, it's really about like the 1%, the rich, right? So what I did was I actually went and talked to the CEO, the guy who was in that 1%, and our conversation went so much different. The guy who was like, kind of underneath that limitation, the CFO, he was talking about like how you got to go get a good job, you have to go get it with in the right people, the right circles. You just got to learn how to like work really hard. The rich guy was like, he like closed his door. He looked both ways. At first, the conversation was, "Yeah, man, you just got to finish out your degree and you'll be good and like get a good job." I was like, "Bro, I'm trying to be rich, man. I see you have like that nice Mercedes outside. I see you have this. Like, how do I want to get that. I don't really want to just be working for someone else."
Right.
He like almost looked like he got hit by a train. He like looked both ways. He leaned over the table. He goes, "The only way that you're really gonna be rich right now is by learning how to write and how to speak. You learn how to do those two skill sets, you're gonna be able to make money in whatever economy, whatever job, whatever you do." And if you look at what we do today, right, to be able to go and we did about 500,000 in sales last year for the business, about 312 net profit. We split between the two of us and extra investments and stuff. But what do? We write posts on social media. We speak on camera. We do a service, which is either the bookkeeping or we do like the coaching, depending on which service we just sold. And then we do like consultation calls. So we just write and we speak.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like kind of what you talked about degree. I think that was where I was going, but it's like, yeah, what I was saying, I remember what I was saying. Like what you talked about we're not special, and that's the thing that I mentioned in one of these other videos. I mentioned they like telling people you don't need our opportunities, you don't need our gifts. Our gifts are for us, and we're just like anybody else. Only thing is we did a lot of research, and that doesn't mean that we're the only people who can do the research. That means anybody's able to do the thing we do.
Yeah, because I mean, like a big part of this is like mindset, right? Now, so like here's an interesting thing. Depending on how you're raised, depending on how you grew up, is going to determine how you handle situations, setbacks, limitations, not having things. So a lot of people, when they grew up, maybe they didn't grow up with money, maybe they didn't grow up with like encouraging parents. So oftentimes, like when they don't have the degree or they don't have XYZ, they don't have this, they kind of are replaying this message in their mind of all the times their parents told them growing up that if you don't graduate college, you don't do this, you don't have this degree, you're never going to be able to kind of amount to something. For us, we're a little bit different in that regard, where anytime that we don't have something, me and you tend to get a little bit irritated and we say, okay, I'm gonna do it anyway, right? So that's the one thing, because that's like our mindset's just kind of trained to do that, right? So even though like you don't really need the degree, it's not you don't need the degree, it's just that we don't let certain things stop us, and we've had to train our brain to do that, right? Because like when I was younger, when I was in school, if I got in trouble or I did something, I would stop, or I wouldn't want to get in trouble, so I wouldn't push those limits, right? But as I've gotten older, it's like I can do whatever I want, as long as it's within the law, right? I can do whatever I want. Yeah. I can talk to whoever I want, I can go wherever I want, I can do whatever I want, I can buy whatever I want, I can, you know what I mean? So it's just, to a certain degree, if you don't have the degree, or if you don't have that certification, or if you don't have that designation, if you don't have the highest level of school, don't let that slow you down. You can do the research, like watch our videos, watch how we're living our life, watch how we're doing a lot of this stuff, join mentorships, pay for stuff. The only way you're really going to be able to grow and like hit a goal in life and get out of your current situation, if you don't have all those criteria or school and your credibility, is by joining a program, by paying money to get around people who are like that. For example, there's a young lady in our program, her name is Callista, and she doesn't have a lot of work experience. Whenever she goes and gets a client, she actually just uses me as reference. So she joined my mentorship program, we help her get clients, and if a client ever calls for like a recommendation or just to ask about like how is she, like what, since she doesn't have a lot of experience, I just say she meets this criteria, this criteria, this criteria, this criteria, this criteria, and she's able to go get the client almost every single time. So it's just like learn how to utilize those resources, learn how to go buy more resources. You might have a lack of opportunity, you might have a lack of smarts, you might have a lack of degrees, but do not let your lack of resourcefulness stop you from being able to go and grow your business.
And in the whole just regard of even if people want to do what it is that we do, where should they start?
Number one would be watching these videos. Like I don't know if you guys have seen all the different videos on the channel. Maybe it's your first time ever watching this channel, right? Just I'm not assuming that you know who I am. I'm not assuming you know who Ian is. We have a lot of videos on this channel that are like behind the scenes, like day to day. Like we have videos on this channel, like when I get into an argument with either Ian or an argument with our mom who works with us inside the business. We have videos where Ian is showing how he chops down videos. Like this channel is probably one of the only channels on the internet. Like if you don't have a long attention span, you can't sit through a video that's like 20 minutes long. It might be a little challenging for you to do that. But let me be honest, like if you're trying to go make $1 million, 500K, 100K a year, whatever the case might be, like we're trying to go do $1 million a year. But if you're trying to get to 100K per year, and you can't watch a video that's more than 10 minutes, 5 minutes long, you really need to start training your attention span. Right, you got to be able to focus. Like I remember when I was trying to learn stuff, I used to watch videos that were like 3 hours long, just listening over and over and over and over. Because I didn't really have much to do. I didn't have any money. I didn't have a job, so it's like all I could do was watch videos that taught us how to like go make some money.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like even for us to be, it's not glamorous.
That was pretty glamorous.
Okay, I'm gonna cut that part out.
No, I'll leave it in there. Like it is very glamorous. Like. I was talking to this person, right? Now, when I say glamorous, if you think about it like this, right? There are certain people who have to go talk to people who they don't like to talk to on a daily basis at their job. They have to go put up with stuff they don't want to do. They have to go drive to the office. They have to...
That's maybe the not glamorous part I'm talking about.
What?
That's the not glamorous part I'm talking about.
What do you mean?
The work.
Our work?
No. Just the whole work of setting up and all that. Watching the 3-hour videos and stuff.
Oh, dude. If someone has trouble watching a 2-hour, 3-hour video,
yeah,
like they need to kind of. You're not gonna make
this part.
No, keep it in there. Like, let's be honest. We don't hold anything back on this channel. There's no lying to you. It's just like there are certain things in life that if you're going to be successful, you have to be able to do. Like there's people who are unsuccessful. We call them like civilians, right? They're people who wake up, they go to school, they do exactly what's expected of them, what society kind of tells them. They never step out of their comfort zone. They never try. They might let one failure stop them from getting it, right? Maybe they want to watch like cool, funny videos all day instead of watching the hard, boring videos that are going to get them some money.
Yeah.
For successful people like you, like think about it, like. For example, how did Ian learn these skills, right? Number one is from working with me. Number two is from me training him. Number three is from him watching all these business YouTube videos. Number four is from watching the course materials I bought. Number five is from doing the work, just doing basic, easy work. Now, it's not that it's easy, but there is a level of consistency. Like we keep coming back to it's like mindset. Mindset's the thing that's going to change you. Like think how you think. And how you do things, and that's why I say you get to train your focus, is what's going to determine your skill sets. Ian alone is going to be making probably anywhere between like 300 to 600K a year in the next probably 2 to 3 years, as soon as we like figure out like the book funnel and as soon as we get a lot of stuff going. So it's not like he's not different, it's just he's doing different things on a day-to-day basis that add up to the results that he gets.
And that is kind of something when you talk about, changing the habits, like, the book that I have coming out. By the way, I have a book coming out soon. And it's all about, changing the habits, changing, how you view things. Like if you failed in the past, and sometimes you can get comfortable in failure. Basically meaning, why don't I just settle for something quote unquote normal? Or the unfortunate thing that I feel like there's people like we were watching the Super Bowl last night, and one of the people on the commercial, I think he was with the Eagles, and basically Chiefs won, by the way. Like talking about I don't like the R word that people use. The R word, realistic. When people say you gotta be realistic.
Yeah. It's tough, man, because like it's tough. Like a lot of people, life is hard, especially if you don't have your life set up correctly from the start. Life can be very hard. And when I talk about that, like Bryce, like you're not like 50,000 years old, right? We're on the younger side, right? But majority of our clients, especially in the coaching space, and on the bookkeeping side as well, they're generally people who are like in their like 45, 50, 60 years old, right? And you hear stories about their life, how like, you know, they have this many bills, they have this bill, they have this kind of debt, they have like a boat, they have the house, they have all this stuff that's kind of holding them down, right? Versus we've kind of had the luxury of starting off a lot earlier than some of our clients have, right? So it really comes down to, if you can get started earlier, right? Here's a weird thing that I hear a lot. Okay, on a lot of the consultation calls for people who are like, you know, unsuccessful. You can tell when someone is going to be unsuccessful based on the activities they take. So, for example, you know, we talk about it's like, oh, you know, I want to grow my business, I want to do this thing. Then when you start talking price and you start telling exactly what's involved and like what's required of them, they put it off. And you've seen this as you message people. Oh, 12 months after we got on the call and you haven't done anything, it's like you're still in the same place.
Or I'm gonna set up in a few years.
Yeah, it's just like,
It's not funny.
it's not funny, but it's funny. It's just like, you're not getting any younger. Like, things only get harder as you get older.
Yeah.
Because so here's the thing. So like when you're young, right? Of course you're gonna have kids, and once you have kids, the kids are gonna start going to college. You're gonna start doing travel sports. You're gonna start a lot more required. You're gonna need to have that money, like a plan for the money, college savings. Okay, but here's another thing that happens. What happens after the kids are past college age? A lot of people think, oh, I'm just gonna start my business and blah blah blah. No, it actually gets harder in some cases because now you have to worry about retirement. Do you have enough money saved for retirement? What's gonna happen when you stop working your job? Are your bills gonna be paid? Do you have to downgrade? Like, what happens? So it's like if you're early or as soon as possible, maybe you're 50 or 60 watching this thing now, it's better to start now. Like the best day to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best day to plant a tree is today.
Today.
So it's like, you know, as soon as you understand the knowledge, as soon as you understand the info, you gotta change those habits. You gotta take some action.
Yeah, like today, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, what's gonna happen? Like we're in an inflation period right now, and what's gonna happen after inflation only happens for so long, and after inflation pops, and then people are back to square one, right?
Yeah, when recession hits. Yeah,
because you spend all this money on all of these different things, and then all of a sudden inflation pops, we're in a recession. What's gonna happen then?
Well, here's an interesting thing too. It's always easier to make money today than what it is to make money tomorrow. Okay? If you're talking within like a span of like 100 years. So, you know, it is easier today to make money today than it was like in the 1400s. But within a span of 100 years, where the technology is not shifting extremely fast, and we're like basically in the similar age, right? So for example, from anywhere from like the 90s to about now, technology has, you know, of course grown a lot faster, but it's not like, you know, people are in like horse-drawn carriages, right? It's different. But it's always easier to make money now than what it will be tomorrow, because things are constantly changing. You have more competition, the technology is moving faster, the internet's changing. So for example, 3 years ago on LinkedIn, you could get on LinkedIn, you could send out 150 connection requests per account per day easily, right? And you could grow your audience so fast. Nowadays, they have a limit on LinkedIn where it's like you can only send out 100 connection requests in a week.
And on Facebook.
That's literally 5 times less people you can go connect with and build your audience by every single like week. That adds up. And it's only going down and down and down and down, right? So whenever someone says like, oh, I'm just going to wait for a year from now, I'm going to wait for 2 years from now, how do you know the opportunity is actually going to be the same or even be there? How do you know you'll be able to actually capitalize on the opportunity with your given skill set without having to go back to school, without having to learn something new, without having to learn new technology? It's just like things, you got to start now so you can take advantage of all the good stuff that's happening before.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't think people really, and I think we're kind of in a unique situation because even though we're not different than everybody else, we see the world differently. Right, I think doing the senior citizen fitness, we talked about that earlier, I think that gave us a lot of perspective because we're always around people who are like, you know, 95, 98. We saw people literally age in the span of 2 years, go from a young 93-year-old.
All right, cool.
cool. Part 2.
Yeah.
So
The camera just timed or whatever.
yeah, we're still learning this new camera set. Like, so that's one thing too, guys. Like, you gotta understand your strengths. Like, my strength is talking on camera. My strength is not editing. My strength is not getting a scene. Like, all this stuff. This is Ian's scene. Like, he has a cool statue in the background. He has a painting. He has other painting. He has the lights. He has the black guitar. I should probably get the black guitar inside of this image one day. I mean, he has a light up here. Like, camera there. He has so much better stuff when it comes to like recording and just quality of this stuff, right? So like that's one reason why we even partnered together on this stuff, because he helps take my stuff to the next level. Because like, you know, that's over the next 2 years we're gonna really start developing our brands out tremendously. As soon as we start really pushing out that the book funnel and stuff, like tremendously growing this brand.
Yeah.
So.
And it's not just about us growing the brand, it's about all of you guys as well watching this. There is none of this without you guys. Like you just need to know that. You know that we want to help you.
Yeah.
We want to help you get to the next level. You feel me? Like, it's not all about us. You know what I'm saying? We can only do so much without you guys, you know. There is no company without you. There is no mentor, there's none of this without you guys. So we want you guys to be as involved with us as we want to be involved with you.
Mm-hmm.
So in closing remarks, what is one thing you want people to take away from this?
Yeah, it's like, don't put off till tomorrow what you can do today. If you have the opportunity to do it today, if you have the ability, even if you have to go into debt in order to do it, like take out a loan, take out a credit card to go do programs or do different things you need to in order to grow your business, grow your life, and start changing your income. That's number one. Number two, the way that you see the world and the way you think about situations is going to determine how fast you grow and how long you stay stuck in the situation you are right now. And I think those are my 2 closing remarks.
Cool. All right, you guys, join us. That's all I could say, man. We're still here right now in the month of February. This is Black History Month, and we are still educating all of the aspiring black entrepreneurs. But of course, it's not all about us. It's about everybody watching, black or not. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can learn from this. Everybody can learn from us. All right? I love y'all. All glory to King Jesus. I'll see y'all in the next one.